So this is Isa Martell, Al-Asad. What we're doing here is kind of talking about environmental terrain, and I'm gonna approach Frank, who has this fortified little area, as if he's like a someone who's lost or by himself or something, and we'll talk about the terrain features and difficulties in trying to attack him in this way. So the terrain, if you see, is kind of muddy anyway, so with period shoes on, we were slipping earlier. So here we go. So if I was to approach up this way, we're coming in, and we can see here Frank has behind this stone little wall, which is an excellent defense. If we were to come in like this, he would automatically have like our advantage. There's nothing we can do, and even if we like somehow blocked his shield, the sword couldn't even reach him here. So he has like the complete advantage. You know, nothing, he can step back, I can't step past this. So perhaps we would try over here to come in this way. Through here, we have a same situation. He has these trees, which are ideal. If I try to come in, he easily can defend anything in this way. If you had a larger shield, you might be able to press here, but you're still kind of trapped between these trees. You can see he can just poke me to death, and my arm can't really swing like there. Or there you go, an excellent like defense comes that way. Even if we came back around here, we see this opening here is a little better. You might be able to work the tree, but ideally you would want to be against this tree if you had a shield, because you can go like this, right? But the footing and everything makes it hard. And even like trying to swing, you can see your sword will get caught up. He can easily just poke me to prevent me from crossing this line, because once I cross this line, then I'm in the camp, and it makes me fighting a lot easier. So he would probably defend everything equally there. I wouldn't even bother trying to come across there. So in this little situation, the ideal spot would be to come around this wall up into the gap to get into the little camp he has, because from here we have the ability to swing, do any type of attack, like block out his nice A. He is getting pressed back, and if you can see, eventually he'll get pressed back to the trees or to the wall there, to that log over there. And that's when, with a sword and shield versus a spear, when we get the press in on him, and we can do that, maybe he'd be forced to draw his Khanjar, and we'd be killing.
Check you,
yeah,
smack you.
But the point is, we're in the camp and you have room to swing your sword, whereas coming through those trees would be difficult. Obviously you can't cross the stones, you can't step over there, the footing's bad. So in this situation, pretty much we would say that you want to get into the opening that'll allow you to do your sword work, right? And force him to like either retreat or push him back against some sort of obstacle where he gets caught up in.
Because while the Nize is not defenseless in confined spaces, it becomes a point where there's only so much that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with this thing, but eventually I would feel pressured enough
to
grab a close quarters weapon.
Exactly. And even in here, this is like a nice sized little area, but even like this little fire pit presents an obstacle that Frank can technically defend behind, because you can see I'm forced to go right through here, pretty much,
and
you know.
with Nize being a cutting spear, yes, I do have more striking opportunities and stuff, but if he manages to void back.
Yeah. There we go. Now I can come in, yeah.
my Neze could get stuck somewhere
Yep.
in a fortification, an embankment,
Yep.
and I'm open.
Exactly. So we'll switch it, the perspective,
All right.
and do it.
All right, so here we are from the other perspective. So my opponent with the Shamshir and Sapar is coming up the hill. So you're going to see down here, I do have this nice little stone wall here. It's not too huge, but it does provide him a challenge from stepping over. No matter how good or fast you are, that is an obstacle. And from here, I have so many opportunities to keep him at bay with this Neze before he even gets a chance to step over that line. And if he tries to, there's going to be points where now him trying to get over the wall, foot, leg, knee. So many things it's difficult for him to take care of, because no matter what you try to do, you are stepping over somewhere that does slow you down. So from my end, with the spearman on the higher ground, you just need to work with the terrain. I was going to come over here. I have a nice square to work through. This is very easy for me to defend and force him to stay out of. I can move back and forth, keep him at a distance, stab him there, stab him there, stab him behind. If I use this point fast enough, I can light him up way more times before he can get through. Come back for a second. It can also, if I need to, he comes in with a strike, I can pin a sword, come down, stab over, use that terrain. So when he comes through over here, same thing, opening. He has a little tiny Separ. Maybe you can try to pin my sword or whatever. But again, now there's all this opening for me to work with right through. So you see from my perspective as a spearman, it is this direct line of attack that makes working with these boxes incredibly easy. If anyone remembers any old arcade shooters, how easy it is to like sit in those arcade shooters and shoot straight on with someone. Yeah. This creates a nice scope. It creates a frame. Your target is in frame with these trees.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
It removes distractions, yeah, so to speak. Yeah. And like, and if he has buddies behind him even, yeah, I see where his buddies are. They're being drawn in through this opening. Yeah, maybe they'll come around here, but I'm just saying for the sake of this, yeah, I'm gonna keep everything in mind. We'll go to the other side. So now he decides to come around. With the Persian Neze, as we've discussed, it's good for cutting as well as it is thrusting because of the broad spear tip. But at this point with this opening, I'm gonna want to rely on the thrust because now he has room to maneuver his Shamshir. So I'm gonna want to try to dodge, keep him as far back as I can, poke, be aggressive, but he's gonna close. Maybe I'll try cutting, and at this point, I mean, he's advanced so far. My options are butt striking, checking, coming down, pinning, drawing my Khanjar to close that distance. But the spearman will feel pressured regardless.
Yeah, because I can swing.
Because he has a swing, he has the movement. In this opening here, the spearman needs to be faster on the thrust. Yeah. He needs to find one defined opening, maybe to the face, the groin, and then finish that hit. Yeah. He has all the time in the world around here. But here, he is pressured. So that's it from my perspective. And hopefully this shows people, right, that like, we don't have the set in stone definitive absolute with how these weapons are used. Yeah. Neze is not bad in close quarters, you just have to know how to use it. Just like how Shamshir can work with reach, you just have to know your environment to use it, exactly, to use it correctly.
Try to use the trees and other obstacles to your defense when you're fighting in this type of situation.